Alright, Improvisation Center is back for a short little video. This time we're revisiting an old project. John Deere lawn tractor slash utility yard tractor thingy. If you remember, we took the deck off this thing, did a little refurbishing of some stuff, got the engine back up and running in order to use this thing like a little yard cart to drag this storage trailer we have around the yard. Well, we have one little problem with this thing, and this thing seems to be plagued with this one little problem, and that's with the steering. And I'm sure anybody that owns these tractors or ones with this similar steering design have experienced the same thing. Let's get up under here, get a little look-see at this. This thing uses this triangular shaped gear right here with this steering shaft and this gear right here that meshes in order to turn the whole mechanism. Only problem with this is these bushings in here between this gear here and at the top in the frame, they wear out, and the more they wear out, the more this shit has play. The more play this has, the more it chews up these teeth here on this triangular shaped gear here. And when that happens, you end up getting some spinach with the steering wheel. No steering. Now, I'm gonna have to replace this little triangular gear, no doubt. I'm gonna have to order one. But another thing I wanted to try to visit is some kind of way that I can make this gear mesh a little bit tighter against the triangular gear, so even with the worn teeth, even with the worn bushing, the thing will at least mesh well enough that it won't strip as easily. And had a couple ideas. One of them is going to be to try to take a piece of flat stock metal and install it like right here. Try to anyway. I have to look at the bolts right here to see how I can manage that. And if I do anything, attach this piece of flat stock between here and here and here, that way it'll actually draw this thing in closer to the teeth here, and even with a little bit of movement on that piece of metal, it'll end up at least allowing this shit to mesh up better. That's one idea. The only other ideas that I could think of would be something based on the same thing, but something a little more permanent, like bending up something that I can bolt across there to hold it up. So really, this is kind of some shooting from the hip kind of thing, just some trial and error shit in order to make this shitty design just a little less shittier. So I'm gonna go and look in the scrap pile, see what kind of crap I have laying around, see what I can cook up. So stand by. Okay, I took the two main bolts off that hold this little triangle gear up, and I'm looking at something with the way the bolts go in here. If I could get some spacers between this piece and the frame here and get this thing drawn down enough to where it's actually meeting a lot closer with the gear right here, I might be able to achieve our goal of tight meshing, because this gear right here is at an angle forward. So the more down this gear goes, especially on the bolt shaft where it mounts in the frame, the more down this gear goes, even by a fraction of an inch, the more closer it gets, the tighter it gets on the teeth here. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Grab us some washers and crap, maybe a longer bolt if necessary, and we're gonna put this stuff together as stated with extra washers, spacers. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue our work real quick. Stand by. Alright, got our bolts back in. If you can kind of see right there, got a shitload of washers sandwiched between the gear and the frame of the tractor, and that's on both of these bolts. This bolt right here, get our camera, That bowl right there's got probably 3 different washers, as is that one. And because of that, it brought the level down to about the lower third of this steering shaft gear right here, where the meshing is pretty damn tight. So hopefully that'll be enough to allow this thing to be able to continue to mesh even with some of the chewed up teeth, enough so to be able to steer this damn thing. So I'm going to drop this thing back down on the ground and we're going to see how it turns. Stand by. This thing doesn't exactly have a big turning radius, but we're meshing pretty good for all intents and purposes, because before, all this thing did was just spin around as it skipped the gears. I'm sure I probably don't have that much longer on that gear because of the chewed up teeth, but hopefully it'll at least be enough to buy me a few moments, or at least a few uses of this thing before everything just strips to the point that it's pretty much shot. But yeah, I didn't have to do any of the original ideas that I had. It was a quick and simple fix, temporary nonetheless. But when I do replace the gear, I'll still do the same thing, so hopefully it'll prolong the deteriorate. Can't even get my damn words out right. But yeah, I'm gonna have to order another gear, but I'm gonna still put the new gear up with the extra washers as I did this time, so hopefully the new gear won't degrade as quickly as this one did, because everything is nice and tight. So we're gonna go ahead and roll with that and either move this thing out of the way, because we still have some other projects we need to work on, and currently this thing's in the way. So till the next time, we appreciate your viewing and clicking them like buttons and subscribing to the channel and dropping some comments to give us some suggestions on ideas with some of this stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead, try to warm up by this fire a little bit because it's cold out here, get this thing moved out of the way and move on with more work today. So again, like, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you later.